Welcome to Montreal, where the teams are ready for today's practice session at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Personally, I think we're in for a real treat today. In 1999, the outside track wall, situated on the last corner of the lap, ended the race of 3 Formula One world champions, Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve. Since then, the wall has come to be known to fans around the world as the infamous Wall of Champions.
Turns 13 and 14 are definitely the most demanding corners on the track. A quick chicane section, entering at over 180 miles per hour, drivers use plenty of curb and get very close to the wall. But hitting those curbs at the wrong angle can easily put the car offline. You'll see a lot of drivers bail out of committing into turn 13, using the escape road to avoid contact with the wall.
So here we are then in Canada, a course I absolutely love and one I'm very much looking forward to racing in this game. Had a lot of practice on it.
That's looking good. Now let's try for
F1
purple.
2018.
You'll get a bonus for consistency if you can chain good corners
Jeff
together.
interrupts me, which he's got to do less of. Yes, you can see we're doing the track acclimatization. It's a course I love so much that I think we should be able to hit the purple on it. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Good straights, good cornering. It just seems to really suit my driving style. And in qualifying, when we get there, we're expecting us to have quite a good time. We've got a couple of new upgrades on the car as well, which are really helping us out. But as you can see, hitting all the zones pretty much spot on. A few greens in there, which is a little bit annoying, but we hit mainly purple as we go through. And this is the sort of level where I think, yeah, maybe we should change the AI up, because I know that I'm pretty decent around Canada. But we are playing really well. We are racing down here well into this really tight right-hander, hit the gate, get on the accelerator, a little bit wider than the actual path I normally take, but we'll see that in the race. At the moment, we're in about 5th of the fastest time, but we'll have to wait and see. But this whole track acclimatization is going very well. As you can see, we do really enjoy Canada as a team and me as a racer. There's the Wall of Champions that was talked about in the preliminary bit as we come across the start-finish line, and that's going to be a lovely purple.
That's fantastic. You obviously have a really good understanding of this circuit.
As Jeff says, we have a good understanding
It's
of the
time
circuit.
to remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Wang, Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly for more Formula One action.
So as you can see, quite easily winning that one. And a little interview of
Amazing
Claire.
performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components?
It was absolutely brilliant session, that. And yeah, we are testing new components. We've invested in quite a lot, but the aero package, so I was trying it out.
You had an incredible pace in practice. Would you say that you're pretty comfortable with the car?
Definitely getting used to the car. It's definitely getting better, much more easier to handle. And she does handle absolutely beautifully on this track.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
I'm going to give you no comment to that one, Claire. Even though I say I'm not sure what happened, to be honest. I don't. I actually go for no comment because that's not fair.
Appreciate your time.
Not a problem, thank you. So after practice 3, you can see that we actually smashed the practice programs 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfect as well. And lots of resource points in the bank for us, up to 574, which is very nice. Boost of reputation with Haas, a little bit more towards veteran. Let's get into qualifying.
Welcome again then, and we hope you're ready for another fantastic session as the teams prepare to unleash their cars for qualifying at the Canadian Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions, so any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
So we do get started, as Crofty says, and here we go, over the start finish straight. The timer starts I am expecting a definite top 5 position on the grid, I think, with just how much I enjoy driving around Canada. And we're getting a pretty decent start as we go through turns 1 and 2, then into the first little chicane as you drop through the gears, come down, try and get close to the wall but avoid it, over the curb on this side, round the right hand bend, into the left hander, then down, drop through the gears. We lose a bit of pace to the AI through there normally, but then we get the traction and through into the DRS zone, along the long straight that bends slightly to the right hand side, into the next chicane, which you can take it a little bit higher gear and a bit of a quicker pace as you come through. Then you straight down to the tight right hand hairpin bend that sends you back on yourself towards the end of the lap, and we are actually doing very, very well at the moment. It's going to be a fantastic time this lap. I can feel it already. A purple sector in sector 2. You can see on the minimap we're pulling away from Hamilton or Bottas, whichever Mercedes it is, in second place at the moment, and we're going to absolutely smash this and could be on for a pole position as we come up towards the wall of champions through the last game. Cut it a little bit much. We don't get a penalty over the line for the DRS. Straight sprint now towards the start finish straight, and that is
Excellent lap. We're really pleased.
pole position. Absolutely beautiful in Canada. I said it was one of my favourite tracks. Let's get into the race.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Wang, Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So we claim pole position by 0.5 of a second.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history. It could be the cause of a safety car today. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Wang lines up on pole position and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel and Verstappen, Weber, Perez, Raikkonen and Devon Butler, Norris, Grosjean, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kvyat, Albon, Gasly. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Robert Kubica and Daniel Ricciardo, Russell and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
So sitting on pole position, waiting for 5 red lights. Let's see how we do in the Canadian Grand Prix. Can we keep the lead into turn 1? They're out and away we go. Off the line, a pretty decent start. And we're going to go, but we get absolutely swamped by a Mercedes and a Ferrari, but manage just to get our nose in front by holding the racing line and keep that first position as we now build up pace as we look to go through. It's going to be very tough holding off the Ferrari and the Mercedes going through these corners as we drop down into the first chicane, get a good exit and look to slowly pull away. With clean air in front of us, we should be okay and have no interference on our downforce or our drag or anything like that. However, obviously, the cars behind us can use us as slipstream.
Alright, well done off the line, we're in a good position.
As Jeff's happy with us getting off the line, sticking in first place, obviously, as we come through now into the second chicane. Now we can afford to brake check a couple of people where we slow down and then accelerate at a slightly different area as we come through, and it allows us to form a little gap as it has done to, I think it's Charles Leclerc behind us there as we come round the hairpin for the first time, take it pretty well. As you can see, I don't generally go as wide as the AI, as now we come down the big back straight in Canada, which is absolutely wonderful. Literally keep your foot down, make sure you go up the gears at the right time, and then into the chicane and try to avoid the wall of champions, which we do because we take it nice and steady the first time going through. and we're looking to extend our lead away from Leclerc, who's keeping pace with us. Obviously we set the fastest lap being at the front, and there's a nice train forming behind us, but we need to make sure we keep Leclerc off the back of our gearbox, because when DRS is activated he's going to have that extra pace in the Ferrari engine, with the Ferrari chassis and the downforce and the DRS. As we actually take that a little bit wide, go into the wall, have a bounce off it, not too much damage to the front wing, actually not looking like too much on there at all, but Leclerc is still hot on our tails. Hamilton behind him, then Vettel. Just look how close Leclerc is as we look at the camera angle off the back of the Haas, and Leclerc's coming up. He's going to try and make a move. We look to close him off and just about do it without damaging any of his front wing. And the way we break, that's a bit of a brake check there, is what I'm talking about. But he's had to slow down and give us that extra space as we come through again into the hairpin. Canada, lots of short timed laps, about 1 minute 15 you're looking at to start the race. When you come through Canada is again down to the start, the back straight, sorry, not the start finish straight, the back straight as we come through, building our way up to the Wall of Champions chicane again, and everybody's in tow. No real movement behind us either, as Leclerc still in second, Hamilton in third, Vettel in fourth, and Bottas in fifth seems to be the order. Then I think it's Verstappen looking at the minimap, who's dropping off the pace ever so slightly, and you can see Leclerc setting the fastest lap, then Bottas setting the fastest lap, and the DRS system is activated, so this is where we've really got to stay on our toes and try and extend the gap to beyond a second if we can. As we drop down the gears all the way to fourth, go to third so we can get a little bit extra traction off the downhill slope, go over the curve, round the right hand bend, you come into this left hander which can catch you out if you accelerate too quickly. You lose the back end as you go over that curve, but we come through. Now this is where they're going to have DRS and we're not, and they're going to be able to come at us quite quickly as we just need to defend. We go to the inside line, Leclerc can't get past us, and we actually defend that quite well, as then we go round again, foot down to the floor, trying to get into the hairpin to turn that really sharp right hand corner. As we're in third gear, we set a quickest first and second sector around Canada at the moment, so you can see we've still got that pace. However, this is going to be crucial, this DRS zone here, because this is the longest straight, and it's actually Hamilton who's taken Leclerc in the hairpin, so we're going to have Hamilton chasing us down for the primary position in this Grand Prix now, and he has caught us up but hasn't managed to go round us in the long straight as we got really close to the Wall of Champions and just running on the curb as we look to get our foot down again, go through the gears, getting up to 7th. We had a fastest lap which is then taken away by Hamilton, which is then taken away off him by Vettel, and it's very, very close and tense here as we are keeping Hamilton behind us just about for now, but with the DRS zone opening up, you just cannot tell how long we're going to keep him off. Obviously that Mercedes is very, very good in speed and around the corners. It's got a great downforce on it, and it allows Hamilton to really master its weight and its chassis around the corners. So here we go into the next DRS zone, and we have a quick look. Hamilton is still right on our tail. It's going to be close. Is he going to jump down the inside here? No, he's not, but he's getting himself, you can tell, into a good position for the DRS zone after the hairpin. As we're going to come through here, he's already straight on our tail again, hard on the brakes. We need to take this corner well, and we do. We do take it well. It's actually a fastest second sector for us again. But this is my worry. It's going to be here. I think Hamilton has DRS, and I think he's going to be able to get us for pace on this straight. We're going to try and stay. We're going to go wide and then try and come over to defend the inside.
For you. Everything's looking nice and tidy on our end. Let us know if you start to feel any issues.
We actually survive another lap from Hamilton's charge, but here he comes. He gets another DRS zone just in this area. We actually try and keep the inside line.
The pit window, you'll be on the mediums.
We don't defend it well enough. We broke far too early on the brakes there, and Hamilton gets into first place, and we're in P2 with now Charles Leclerc back on our tail. If we can keep pace with Hamilton, we're going to do well. If we can finish in the podium position, I'll be very, very happy. It's always a bit of a nightmare when you give up pole position, but to finish on a podium in a Haas at this stage of the career would be absolutely incredible, as we actually go on the grass a little bit there, giving Leclerc a chance to come right up our gearbox. He's surely lining us up in this area. We do luckily have DRS as well off the back of Hamilton. Leclerc's there, but we just defend him really well again. Don't really see too much defensive driving from me in this career so far, because we're always on the attack, but standing at the front, we need to try and hold off these faster cars as we come through over the little bit of grass again, cutting that quite a lot, which is going to lose us a bit of pace And I don't think we're even in the second, within a second to get DRS anymore. We're not. Our DRS isn't open, but you can see both Ferraris and Bottas have theirs open behind us. But luckily, we managed to keep a bit of pace in front and then go into the chicane for the Wall of Champions, and everyone's avoided it so far as we come back down the home straight and over the start-finish line to start lap 6. And it was a very slow lap there. You can see how much more we've got to defend with our lap times are falling as we go on the grass yet again. The pressure from the drivers behind us is really forcing me into some errors here. Luckily, we're keeping Leclerc off our tail, or on our tail, I'm happy to say, because as long as he's not going past us, I'm very, very happy as we come through into the right-hand, the left-hander, again, where you have to just stay sensibly. Now, it could come down to strategy against us v Hamilton. Are we both going to pit?
Right, we have a very worn-out MG UK. Our battery charge speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire.
Okay, that's not what you want to hear as we jump to lap 7, just coming down into the hairpin. And on to the lap, this is our pitting lap. Now, is Hamilton going to pit as well? Are we going to be on the same strategy, or are we going to be able to do an undercut? The pit lane is straight at the end of this fast little back straight area here. As we come through, chasing Hamilton down, we've got a bit of a gap between us and Leclerc. So Hamilton is in as well. Hamilton pits, we pit. It's going to be a race of the pit crew. How can we do? Hamilton, being the race leader, will pit in the first block. There we go, he's in. He's straight there. We've got a little bit further to go. There's also a Red Bull coming in as well. We get the tyres done, but we're held up because we have to let Hamilton go. It was an unsafe entry if we were to release then. And that is very annoying. We're going to come out behind Hamilton. And Jeff over the radio has said that we're also going to be coming out racing as we leave the pit lane. And that is a lot of traffic that we are coming into as they come around the left and right bends. We're going to come out around Albon and Sainz. And I think that's Gasly as we come close to Sainz and actually put our foot down and take it bravely. Then go round Albon on the inside as well. It's wheel-to-wheel race and Albon forces us wide. We're going to come through as we come round after the chicane. It looks like we've just got the pace ahead of Albon on the fresh tyres. And we're on to the mediums now to see us through to the end of the Grand Prix. So we've cut that, get a warning for that cut because that was really bad. Luckily, we're already in front of Carlos Sainz. So here we go then. There's us. We've really got to catch up with Lewis Hamilton because the further he gets in front of this traffic and we stay behind it, that gap is just going to extend and extend. Luckily, there's a Red Bull and a Ferrari in that traffic as well. As we're starting to pull away from it, it looks like the Ferrari and the Ferrari and Red Bull are battling each other now, which should help us out. And we've got, I think that's Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton has got through the traffic, so he's now in front of Grosjean, our rival and team partner. And Daniel Ricciardo, I'll imagine that is in the Renault. It could be Devon Butler, but I imagine it's Ricciardo. And here we go. Are they? So the Renault comes into pit, so it's now us. It's only Grosjean in the way of us and Lewis Hamilton. And we just need to keep this going. Grosjean, you'd imagine in real life, would get team orders to let us past, but I don't think that's going to happen here. As Grosjean is on the medium, and there is Bottas. So we come out in front of Bottas. Wow, luckily he didn't get the jump on us through the pits, so we're still in a net second place in this Grand Prix, with only Grosjean really stopping us from attacking the pole leader, the race leader in Lewis Hamilton. But Bottas is right up us, and in a net position, we're in a Mercedes sandwich, and that's not where you really want to be. Trying to pressurise Lewis Hamilton at the front and trying to withstand Valtteri Bottas behind you as Bottas makes the move. Have we just kept that inside line? We have, and then cut across and force him off a little bit. You can argue we had the racing line, so there's no penalty there given to us as we come down. Still chasing down Romain Grosjean in front of us. The Frenchman surely has to let us pass. We're right up his gearbox. You can see his tyres just aren't giving him the grip that ours have got. And here we go. We're going to easily pass Grosjean here. So we just get his last bit of slipstream, come around him, open up the DRS, and now we should have it. He's trying to squeeze us into the wall. Very dangerous for our team partner there. And we are past him, and now we cut through into the chicane. Take it really wide. Very, very close to the Wall of Champions. But as mentioned, we are 6 places above our target. Grosjean coming back at us, but we're going to outbrake him. We make sure we've got the inside line for turn number 2. And now it is Hamilton first, Nichols in second, Grosjean in third, Bottas in fourth, Leclerc in fifth, and Vettel in 6th. So at the moment we're still in this Mercedes sandwich because Grosjean still has to pit. And that will then give Bottas a third position as we find ourselves 2.7 seconds behind Hamilton, so nowhere near DRS range, and it probably means he's going to hold on for the win. We need to put in some qualifying-esque times here to really rein him in and reel him in and get closer. But all we can focus on is driving our perfect laps as best as we can, managing our fuel mix, managing our ERS, and trying to get through as we set a purple sector in sector 2, which is very, very nice. And obviously a point for the fastest lap would be very nice indeed as well. If we're going to finish second, let's see if we can get an extra point for the fastest lap as we go into overtake mode on the ERS up to 7th, up to 8th gear as we're coming down flying. We've actually got a huge gap between us and Bottas, who has now got past Roman Grosjean. We break a little bit late and we have to really slow down to get back and avoid hitting the wall of champions, but again, we do have that big gap between us and Bottas, and it looks like this could be our finishing order as we set a slow sector 1, a quickest sector 2, and then a personal best sector 3 in that last lap. So we do have the pace, we do have the ability to try and catch Hamilton as we come through into the chicane. No more news from Jeff about our MG UK, so we're obviously managing that okay. It's not getting too worn out at the moment, but something we'll have to look into for the next race, which will be France, if I remember rightly, going to the European sector. As a good sector 1 there, we set a personal best in sector 1, which is lovely, and Bottas is closing the gap on us. He is catching us up, and that is not good news because we need to try and catch up to Hamilton as we come into here, staying in rich, upping our ERS deployment, getting ready as it's I was going to say a slow sector 2. We go really, really wide in the hairpin, which is going to give Bottas a chance to get on our tail. I think we've just about kept out the DRS range of him, but that's not going to help us in our chase to get Lewis Hamilton. But we're still going pretty well. But yeah, that sector 2 was 0.1 seconds below our quickest, which isn't the best. We should be improving with every lap because of the more fuel you use up, the lighter the car is, and the quicker you should be able to go. But the sector 3 is a best sector 3, which is very strange.
Roman is in the pits.
And that actually gives us the fastest lap as we jump
Only got 2 laps
onto lap 17, the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. And look how much we've caught Hamilton up. Are we going to have enough in the tank? We're putting the pressure on him. We are racing very, very well.
Amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
So Bottas is catching us as well, according to Jeff over the radio, but we are catching Hamilton, and that is the main thing. Do we have enough in us to get this done with the last 2 laps, as we're still holding on to that fastest lap as we go really wide on that first bend of that chicane, go through away, not enough DRS, but as you can see, it's Hamilton, us, Bottas. I think it's then Leclerc and then Vettel. The 2 Ferraris are some way off Bottas in 4th and 5th positions, but we've set a fastest sector 1.
Okay, some information on Sainz. They are out of the
Carlos
race.
Sainz's race has gone from bad to worse as he started bottom of the grid and now not even going to get a finish as we come through. We're right on the back of Hamilton.
Okay, the gap behind is 2.0
It confirms that Bottas is well out of our DRS range, so we don't have to worry about that. But we are really trying to chase Hamilton down here as we go into sector 1. Was good. Sector 2 was pretty poor. Sector 3, can we nail
We're
it?
not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon.
Jeff asking us to drop down the fuel
This is your
mode.
final lap.
As there's a yellow flag right in front of us. Someone's got into the wall, but we switch to the off-board cameras for the final lap. Look at us chasing down Hamilton. I don't think we're going to have enough about us in this final lap, but what a race it's been for Team Haas. We cut that corner and get another warning, 1 warning away from a penalty now, which we really can't afford to do because Bottas is going to be within 2 seconds of us, I imagine, by the end of the race as we take these corners much more sensibly, and we just need to focus on getting around the race without a penalty now. Finishing the race off without any impact on our time would be wonderful, but we are catching Hamilton, and it's just one of those races. If we had a couple more laps, would we be able to do it? Unfortunately, Hamilton's driven really, really well, as I think we have as well. I think we can argue we've driven well as we come round the hairpin for the final time, drop down into first gear, come up and then get our foot to the floor, and this is the last chance we've got to come and catch him. We're not going to get DRS. We're over a second away from Hamilton, which means he's probably likely going to hold on unless he crashes into the wall of champions on the last turn, taking the chicane, which he doesn't. He gets through it fine. He comes over the line in P1. We get P2. What a race in Canada for Team Haas.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Second place, absolutely delighted with that. What a race from us. Well done, Hamilton.
Yes, another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. they were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs. And that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So a well-earned victory for Lewis Hamilton, doing very well, but we're up there on the podium with a bottle of champagne for the first time in our F1 career, which is absolutely brilliant. I'm absolutely delighted with it. I knew I had a chance for Canada. It's one of my favourite tracks, and that has gone superbly well. Please leave a like for getting second place in the Canadian Grand Prix. Absolutely brilliant.
Let's see how the driver standings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
But there's no question in my mind, it has to go to George Russell. What a performance. He's got every right to be proud of what he accomplished out there today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Yeah, so second place finish for us, 19 points because we get the extra point for the fastest lap. Actually getting, again, this 5 tenths for the second. Grosjean down in 11th, just missing out on the points. And Carlos Sainz was the only did not finish of the race.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race.
I think it was an absolutely brilliant race, Claire. Thank you very much for asking. The team really pulled out all the stops.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
It's a team sport. We all put an extreme amount of effort in.
You had a bit of contact today. Who was at fault there?
I can't actually remember what answer I picked for this. I might have done no comment. Not me. He needs to look where he's going to stay out of my way.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
I'm pretty sure for this I said no comment because I don't think she was right about that. We only hit a few walls.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Nothing too drastic, but thank you, Claire. As we go into the rivalry breakdown, we are storming ahead of Grosjean again, and Lucas Weber is falling away, and we're very close to winning the rivalry against Weber. Lots of resource points from that one because you get, I think we get 100 points just for the clean lap, and then 100 points for the race comparison or something. Oh no, that's in qualifying, in qualifying position compared to race or car projected performance or something. But look at that jump with the team reputation in Haas because of that second place finish. We're nudging in towards veteran again.
Just wanted to say congrats on the podium. It's thoroughly deserved. We were sweating those last few laps on the pit wall, but you brought it home.
Thanks, Jeff. Couldn't do it without you. It's a team effort. And we're going to have a quick look at our messages, as I think we've got some from other interviews. As Lucas Weber says, it's very good. Feels like a proud brother. Couldn't be happier for us as we get onto the podium, which is very nice. He came close with Perez, he says, surpassing all expectations, and it wasn't a very clean race. And then Devon Butler, he's nothing but happy for my rival for managing to get themselves up on the podium. It will make it feel even more crushing when I take it from them on the next race weekend. So he's still hanging around like the dick that he is, Devon Butler, but we'll have to see. And he looks himself up and down, gestures towards himself. This is the secret, I'm the secret weapon. Unbelievable stuff from Devon Butler, what a prick. But we're going to be back for the French Grand Prix on a course that I don't really like but could actually be better at. See you then.